I interviewed Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at Netroots Nation. I was still at the Young Turks. Ty was my cameraman at that point. That was a year ago, because that was August, so almost a year ago. From less than a year ago, when she was literally serving food at a restaurant, I think in the Bronx, also bartending, to taking down the #4 Democrat in the United States of America. She was outspent by some estimates, not 10-1, 15-1. She literally was not on anybody's radar. No media's radar, nobody's radar, pretty much until I'd say the last month.
Yeah, because even after when we interviewed her, I didn't know who she was. You didn't know who she was, and no one did.
No. But I'm saying even up until like a month ago, like the Intercept started doing the Intercept started doing like I think Jeremy Scahill did a podcast with her, Glenn Greenwald did a video with her. Then all of a sudden you start, I think the Huffington Post did something. Then like the week before the primary, you start seeing like profiles of her in Vogue. You start seeing the Wall Street Journal. And do you want to know why? In my opinion, why she won?
Tell us why, Jordan.
Number one, she had an amazing campaign. Like just seeing the amount of coordination on social media and the volunteer networking and the getting grassroots organizing. But number two, I think, I love Bernie Sanders, but I tweeted this out last night and I'm going to say it again right now. I believe that the only way you're going to take down a real Democratic Party monster
is to attack him.
Joe Crowley is you got to roll up your sleeves.
Yeah, you got to roll up your sleeves.
You can't say, oh, I'm here with my friend Hillary at the debate, and we're going to have a pleasant discussion. She was super aggressive against him in the debate, particularly the debate I believe was last week. She did not mince words. She called him out for his lobbyist connection. She called him out for being in bed with real estate developers and selling out the constituents of the Bronx and Queens. She did not mince words. She also, I think, a little more than Bernie, pushed some positions that even Bernie's not pushing. Abolishing ICE, which is very popular in her district because it's mostly people of color, immigrants. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And she pointed out a fact also today when I was looking at the news that a lot of those policies like ICE was put in place in like 2004, 2000, like right when we did all the other bullshit with Bush that's going now that was put in place. You have to understand like why
Patriot Act,
Patriot Act, the Spying Act and all those things. So, excuse me, my bad. And I think something else to point out is that I don't think the incumbent understood the changing of the demographics, and actually, he didn't understand the temperature of the nation right now. I think that's probably what he didn't really get, that if people knew who to vote for, they would get out and vote. And she made them aware of who to vote for. Oh, this person looks like me. This person is asking me questions about what I want. You know what I'm saying? Because, a lot of times politics are local.
Yep.
You know what I mean? All Democrats. I think it was she made the great statement in her promotional video, her campaign video, where she says, "All Democrats aren't the same."
And I think also because that is definitely, that district looks a lot more like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez does than Joe Crowley. But there's also a matter, and I've said this for a long time. Midterm elections, generally speaking, young people do not come out. They just don't. Older people are the most reliable voters in midterm elections.
And I think that's why he took her for granted.
But the difference
didn't even want to have
if you actually have a young progressive, because this narrative has been going on, and I'm going to get to MSNBC as CNN, which, by the way, he loves both of them. I'm going to get to these rags who just said, oh, she won because she ran a positive campaign. Not because she ran a progressive campaign. She won because she ran a positive campaign with a positive message. Oh, we're going to get to Ben Jealous,
But, I think you were like coming and going, dog, because it was times, not to defend them, but it was times where they were like, no, because she pointed out what was going on. Like, a lot of people brought that up.
No, but what I'm saying is, what I watched in corporate media today, they were really focusing more on that she had a positive message rather than going against Trump. Why I think that's part of it. Why I think she won is not because she had a positive message versus going after Trump. It's because she had a progressive message.
So
she pushed Medicare for all.
I think
she pushed
yeah.
free public college.
Yeah.
She pushed ending private prisons, which is big in that community.
Yeah.
She pushed abolishing ICE.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I guess what I'm saying, which doesn't really matter. I don't know why I'm trying to argue a point
Because
about.
you love Joe Scarborough and Mika Scabreski.
But you give credit what credit's due. What they were saying is that she didn't bring up Trump, but she was bringing up the issues of her community.
Yes.
I don't think that they were saying that she was. Well, I guess at one point they did say, there was no one really rolled up the gloves. It was like kind of a. But
I think it was a mixed bag of, number one, you cannot win just making Trump the boogeyman.
You can't.
You just can't.
You can't.
But number two, you have to not only have your own message, but it's not just knowing your district, it's knowing the time. Because she ran not only not speaking about Trump, but speaking about progressive issues like Medicare for all, ending private prisons, abolishing ICE, raising taxes on the wealthy, free public college, all these things. And she did not get into the niceties with Joe Crowley.
Yeah.
That's where I think Bernie Sanders got in trouble in the debate. If you remember, I don't know if you remember this, I don't think you were with me yet. During the 2016 primary, Bernie Sanders had a debate versus Hillary Clinton in Brooklyn. Yeah. And the anchor asked, well, Bernie, can you give one example where she has changed the position after getting a donation?
He didn't say. I thought he did.
I could.
I feel like I remember that.
I could list 20 just in my sleep.
Of course. He pushed her completely left.
And Bernie's campaign actually was emailing out, because during the debates, it's rapid fire. So all the campaigns email out what the candidate's saying. Bernie basically pivoted back to the general spiel. He didn't get into her changing on the bankruptcy bill. He didn't get up to her changing on Wall Street deregulation. The point is, he was asked after the debate, why didn't you go specific on what she was doing? Yeah. Why didn't you go specific on how is she compromised? He said, because I want to run a positive campaign. That's what I'm saying. I think Bernie ran a great campaign, don't get me wrong. But I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, what she did is work harder than Joe Crowley. Joe Crowley barely went out campaigning. He barely had volunteers. Yeah. But number two,
but that lets you know about the how complacent you become when you've been in the chair or when you've been in the position for 14 years and you think they just owe you a vote.
Right.
And I think she brought that up. She brought that up at some point, either last night or it was in her campaign video about you have to come and earn our vote.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to come in and talk to the people and see. And there's so many people that try to say that the incumbent was like a more progressive person than a lot of people in the Democratic Party. I don't know how that is.
He's more progressive.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to something you said. Somebody said first feeling of hope last night since the end of the 2016 primary.
Same girl.
Yeah, I think this is important because I've said this a few times on morning afters where progressives were depressed.
Yeah.
Rome was not built in a day. This country did not become corrupt overnight. Yeah. It's been a slow build. So it was always going to take a while to start seeing real progressive victories.
Moves. Yeah,
because Bernie was just the beginning, but even Tim Canova, for example, losing to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, which I'm not convinced he lost by the amount they say he lost because of the voter shenanigans down there, that was a step in the right direction. Every loss that's not a blowout, every progressive candidate that actually challenges somebody that are outspending the progressives by 10 to 1 is a victory. When Paula Jean Swearingen down in West Virginia, before you came on board, Jen and I were down there.
We interviewed her at People Summit.
Yeah. When she gets 48,000 votes, when a year ago nobody knew who the hell this woman was, against Joe Manchin, who's one of the most well-funded candidates in the United States, one of the most corrupt, too. It's not an immediate victory, but it also is a success. Yeah. And Alex, it all builds up to something like last night. Exactly. All campaigns are different. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's campaign, her district, different than Paula Jean Swearingen. One was a congressional race, one's a senatorial race. But the point is, all of these build on each other. I think you're going to start seeing more Ocasio-Cortez type victories because the establishment is arrogant.
They don't get it. They're so absent that they just don't get it. Right. I mean, it makes perfect sense because when you have the old guard, when you have people that's so used to doing one thing, Like Nancy Pelosi this morning was like, that's one one
all right.
race.
So
that's one race.
Let me give
trying to minimize.
Let me give you the exact
you know,
quote because I was going to get to my friend Nancy Pelosi, who I'm not a woman, but I think it was outrageous.
Interesting.
I thought it was outrageous what she said. You have a 28-year-old Latino woman.
Yeah, she's not even sponsored. She didn't even like give her like congratulate her.
Yeah, you have a 28-year-old Latino woman who less than a year ago was basically bartending.
Yeah.
Not to diminish bartenders, but she just beat the number 4 most powerful Democrat in this country.
Yeah.
It's a woman, so you would think Nancy Pelosi would kind of give a little more than that.
Uh-huh.
This is what Nancy Pelosi had to say. It's ascendant in that district, perhaps.
Yeah.
She
in that
said,
district.
but I don't accept any characterization of our party presented by the Republicans.
Yeah.
So let me reject that right now. Our party is a big tent. Our districts are very different, one from the other. What she means by she doesn't accept the characterization by Republicans, she was answering, I don't accept any characterization that socialism is spreading in the Democratic Party. That's what she was responding to. Well, I got news for you, Nancy. You could call it what you want. You can call it socialism, you can call it progressivism, you could call it going to Burger King. But the bottom line is this. The voters are moving away from the center. The voters are moving to the left. Frankly, the voters are moving in some cases further to the left of Bernie Sanders because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is to the left of Bernie Sanders. So for her to make that statement is outrageously, I think, tone deaf.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it only is going to
arrogant.
It's only going to bring on more animus because, every district is different and every race is about that district, of course. But you cannot say this man, Joe Crowley, was in Congress for 20 years. Yeah. He ran unopposed for 14 years. He was very well known in that district. Mm-hmm. So this is not just a district thing. This was a national message, a national message. What do you think of Ben Jealous winning in Maryland, former NAACP president? Yeah. And the difference between Ben Jealous's race...
No, go ahead.
I wasn't asking you because he's black. I know that's what's going through your head.
Oh no, you don't honestly, you don't know what's going in my head right now.
What's going on?
I thought you get. I can't really like say, but I thought you.
No,
it's okay. It's okay.
What I was gonna say, the difference between Ben Jealous's race and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's race, Bernie went like all in for Ben Jealous. Yeah. Bernie went down to campaign for Ben Jealous, and he doesn't go campaigning for that many officials. Mm-hmm. Bernie did fundraising emails for Ben Jealous. Bernie put his political machine out for Ben Jealous because Ben Jealous is running for governor. Maryland, it's generally a blue state, but it actually has a Republican governor right now. But Ben Jealous was another one. He didn't hide it.
So it's not a swing state?
Maryland, no. But he didn't hide it. Medicare for all, ending private prisons, tax the rich, all that stuff. Thoughts?
No, I think it's great to me, I think I feel exactly like what you're saying as far as just the wave that's happening right now. If you don't catch the wave, and a lot of times that is what happens. I can give just a small analogy. If you think about people in like the hip hop genre, right? If you think about someone that has a lasting career like Jay-Z, he knew how to remain himself, but still move with the time. You know what I'm saying? And you look at people like Rakim.
He cheated on Beyonce.
Regardless, that's neither here nor there. And
I think it is.
Well, hey, to each his own.
Just saying, he cheated on Beyonce. I'm not okay with that. But go ahead, keep going. I interrupted.